All right, good morning, everybody. Um, I'm going to be recording a video reaction to the DBN DipCon stream, a tournament which I participated in. I participated in 3 games over rounds 1, 2, and 3, and I'm just going to watch their coverage of the games and give my perspective. I don't have a script for this video, so I don't know how long it's going to be, but we'll see.
Sullivan and Doc
before, so he knows how to win this tournament. Doc, seen him play some excellent turkeys over the years. Another former world champion at this event. So.
something world champion, yeah.
Just another.
That's how I felt looking at this roster too, but we'll get to that later, I think. I definitely wasn't too happy to be in Germany and have the 2 most experienced players on the board by far be in Russia and Turkey, but it certainly affected the way I negotiated in the first turn. Despite I had a plan going into this tournament. I don't know if I talked about it to anyone, but the plan was play the board, not the players. I was going to play the board. I was going to try and play the most effective alliance that I could think of, just based on the moves that happened. But instead, what happened immediately is that I started playing the players, um, and I was too afraid of Ed to work with him. That was a big mistake. Um, I think Ed and I discussed this at some point, but yeah, that was my mistake, and so we'll see how it goes. But go ahead.
Alrighty. Michaelis, if you want to take the lead more on this one. Again, nice and quick.
Yep. All right. West, nothing interesting. No bounces anywhere. East, Italy sends both armies north, usually anti-Austrian. Interesting to see how that goes. Turkey does the Andrew Goff, I'm going to depart in Syria. Fall of 01, the West is still nothing interesting or committal, although Germany does attempt to bounce Sweden, and Ed Sullivan sees it coming and doesn't go and goes to Baltic Sea instead. Delightful. Don't see that very often nowadays. He's also in Silesia, so immediate RG war. Is this side of a Western triple or is it something else? In the East, meanwhile, not a lot happening. Austria defends Trieste successfully.
So how that went was I typically don't make a habit of lying to people in the first turn. So when Ed asked me if he could have Sweden, I told him he couldn't. And it turned out that was a big mistake. Because he decided to just go for me and throw in his lot with Jason, which stunted my ability to do much right away. Instead, I should have lied to him and said that I was going to Sweden. But that's sort of a minor thing compared to what happens next. But right now, let's see. So I get 2 builds. Don't get Denmark. That's fine. England did not want to come to Norway and go to Barents. That's what I really wanted them to do. So that didn't happen, unfortunately. But at this point, Ed was totally committed to going after me and nobody else. And that was a really bad state of affairs and a result of my poor diplomatic play.
Fleet Sev is very nice for Austria. Fleet Run rather is nice for Austria. Could be a rat. Build Fleet Trieste, that's fun. Fleet St. Petersburg South Coast because you're already at war with Germany, sure. This is
So
very
many
rapid.
fleets.
So the Austrian player insisted that he didn't think Fleet Trieste was anti-Italy, and he was brand new, so maybe he didn't. But that's where we got back from. I thought it was part of a rat too, just like the broadcast, but no, it was not. Apparently, he legitimately thought it was just an okay thing for him to do, and is I can build a fleet, why not? And Italy was this, obviously had an impact on the rest of the game.
The question really will be what England does. They've got the sort of initiative on this board while everyone else is about to commit themselves to a fight. So France is coming into the bed.
Michaelis is just perceptive as usual. Obviously, England has a lot of sway here, and because Ed and I were in a death war, and as some would say, and what we get is a convoy to Denmark, which I asked Jason to do, because I thought it was the best way to get him. What I knew I needed to get him somewhere to go that wasn't through me, and we'll see how it works.
Tripoli moves. England's convoy into Denmark because Germany hasn't taken it, and yeah. Right, Fall of 02, and England sides with Russia. So this is the big question. England had the strategic.
Yep. So obviously that question is answered. Obviously here you can see the support. I had convoyed and supported Denmark to Prussia, expecting that Jason would just go to St. Petersburg, which we knew wouldn't be covered, and get his army into Prussia. I'd get a bill out of Denmark. He'd get a bill out of St. Petersburg, and we'd roll from there. And obviously, France is uncontested in the Med. So I thought that would be a great thing to do. But Jason didn't think so. So he
initiative, and they've decided, I don't want to just do triple versus triple, lock the board up. I want dots. I'm going to take Holland. I'm going to put Ed into Sweden, and Jason Bennett is making his play. I like it. I rate this quite a lot. France, meanwhile, they're charging into the bed, but Peter Cook is going to be given Tunis for free, essentially, because Italy is at war with AT.
Mm-hmm.
There's some interesting tactics in the south where Austria is putting to Ionian, losing them Greece to a walk from Turkey, who loses Bulgaria to a walk from Russia, because really what we needed to do on this board is give Ed Sullivan 2 builds. That's how to balance an Eastern alliance, is to just...
That's precisely correct. I was screaming from the rooftops about this stuff, but Doc and Avery were not listening to me. And I mean, we'll
give
see
3
later.
dots to Ed Sullivan.
I mean, always.
Yeah, that fleet Albania, it really needed to be.
Yeah, so you can see here, this is what Keith would call, standard Eber play, where, disbanding all of my units in Munich and Berlin. It was 1903. I wasn't really interested in surviving much longer. I wanted to go play Ticket to Ride and have a nice evening, go to bed on time. Another board went to 3 a.m., so yeah, it was a good decision. This board didn't. This board ended around 9, I think, 9 p.m.
Army Moscow instead. That makes all the difference for the East. All right, Spring of 03, they blow up Bulgaria by agreement, sure. France takes Tunis, sure, and England gets position.
Mm-hmm.
Now we wait to see where the next stab is. And the next stab's on Austria. So Italy gets Trieste, Turkey takes...
This, of course, was the biggest surprise in the world to everybody but Austria. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is what's happening for me up in the north. I'm just losing everything. They're bouncing in Munich. I was hoping that they wouldn't do that. I could leave.
Serbia, nice year for Dot Binder, going +2, and in the west we see the continued carving up of the German dots, and France trying to help Austria to defend them from Russia. So not clear exactly what France's position on this is. They've got nothing out of this carve up of Germany so far, and I'd be a bit concerned when there's very clear ER cooperation about that.
Yeah.
Everything sort of as you'd expect with the builds.
And here we go.
Yeah, and I'd be even more concerned about France now. Like England, what do they need to be in Ruhr for? What do they need to be in Belgium? Like all of these.
Why they're in Belgium
built
and in
boards.
Ruhr. Like,
Like you might think you're safe because England's not been putting fleets down. England needs exactly 1 fleet to walk to Channel when they make their stab, and all the other units can be armies. So that's dangerous. You will be happy to see
too many armies on the mainland, Peter. Too many armies on the mainland.
Yeah. Well, Russia going back to Baltic does at least, like, there's a potential for an ER war, which is what you're desperate to see if you're France. But I don't like we're putting Mid-Atlantic to the Med here. You're not making any progress anyway. Keep it there. Keep yourself safe. Bounce in Channel.
All right, so as you can see, I disbanded, forced to disband, and was eliminated this turn. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the end to show you how the game concluded. So here we go. Yeah, so Jason topped, Doc was second, Ed was down to 4, which I was very pleased about. Peter didn't get much more, but that's fine. I was mostly just happy that Ed didn't top the board after he was not dealt with early. Jason played a great game. He took me out easy, so that's always good. But anyway, I'm gonna make a brief cut while I skip to the next timestamp.
I had a round 1 lone board top, so that's a pretty good result for David. And fair enough.
All right, here we are at the round 2 board. I was up fresh in the morning. There's a drop right in this tournament, so I thought I could have some chances still if I played well on Saturday. So let's get started. Just seeing the roster, I was excited to play with some players I've never played before, like Kayla and Eddie. I think I played with Eddie before. So I was, and obviously meeting new people like Brendan and Marcus and Victoria that I never met before. And then Karthik is always fun. So I was looking forward to this board and just seeing how things would go.
Well played by Liam and by England there.
Yeah, 36.3. It's pretty.
Tops are not really punished in this.
We were just talking about the scoring system of it there, which I did write. My one highlight from this tournament, and how solo tops or split tops weren't punished, and which of course is somewhat intentional. If you're wondering, the scoring system that the tournament used was almost identical to the one that we use in Speedboat. Um, and yeah, I was honored to. They named it. They named it for me. They named it Sum of Eber, a play on the Sum of Squares scoring system that's very unpopular these days. So I thought that was quite fun. But we will move on to covering this game.
Alrighty. Let's pump through this one as well. Michaelis, if you want to take the lead, or you both can just shout out as you want. Either.
Well, we see a Sunstrom opening from Karthik in Turkey, which combined with Russia opening North and Austria breaking a Galicia DMZ is pretty bad for either. That's the real headline of that Spring 01.
Indeed, that is completely correct. I was not pleased with Brendan's play, especially early in this game, but we'll see.
Cool.
Austria gets +3, which you don't see very often, so that's always fun. Takes Romania. Russia has also lost Black Sea, so this has not been a good start for either at all. England convoys to Norway just to make it even worse. Looks pretty bad for Russia. Beyond that, nothing really jumping out. A free build France as well.
So basically, my thing here was Karthik was still, being Karthik and saying, "Oh, I'm going to stab Austria," and Austria was just not interested in any sort of talks about stabbing Turkey. But he built a fleet in Trieste, and so I was still hopeful that I could be kind of a junior partner in that alliance potentially. But I had sort of burned a bridge with Karthik early by being a little bit too honest about my intentions to get him eliminated. Which again, this being a little too honest in the wrong time is something that was a key sort of thing that happened in this tournament. Obviously, France on the other side is doing great, but we didn't have to worry about that. What I was worrying about was trying to not die. And the idea was to make myself useful to either Austria or Turkey or both. Right now, my basic thing is I'm just going to support Sevastopol. I'm going to defend in the north, and Austria can take my dots, but Turkey never will. And that was my basic thing. The Karthik is like, you're never going to get anything out of me. We'll see how that played out, but that was where I was going with this.
Fleet Trieste from Brendan as well.
Yeah, that's not what Eddie Bassan would have wanted.
I also just realized I played in 2 games with Fleet Trieste and not 1, which is pretty funny.
See, so Austria is gunning for that. This is just a very aggressive AT then.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, they really got Russia on the back foot. I wonder when Italy's going to get a part of this. And I think the answer is he's not really gonna, if they can help it with that second fleet in Austria.
Germany comes to Bohemia, which will slow Austria down a fair bit if they.
Yeah, so you can see my strategy playing out here, where I actually take Norway this turn from Kayla because she was distracted with France in the south. I lose Warsaw, but I block Turkey from getting Sev, which was a key point of my negotiations with Austria. My negotiations with both of them is like, you're not going to get Sev very easily. You're going to have to go the other way around. So that was my goal. Luckily here, I didn't even lose a unit because of the build.
If they stay there, although you could just work with the German and put them into Rolit to solve that.
Yeah, that's good convincing, because Bohemia would be a real problem for just about anything, especially, I'm not familiar with the player. I do want to shout out at least Caleb Silverman, child of Adam. Having to convoy back home, maybe not the best turn to highlight, but at least, taking defense seriously.
Yeah, that's actually a really good move. Andrew correctly points out that that's a really good move by Kayla to try and not die immediately, which would have happened eventually. So
hopefully she can work something out. But yeah, getting a mischievous and or adventurous Germany to just not be bothering you. Maybe go Venice, please.
There was nice tactics by AT there as well. Austria walked into Warsaw, but they were guaranteed to build either way or to not lose.
Yeah, and so you can see here there was a bit of a discussion with Michaelis is talking about the tactics from last turn, but this turn there was a bit of a discussion with the AT where I said, okay, I'm in the north. I got Norway. I'm going to take Warsaw. If you let me into Warsaw and disband my fleet, and let me keep Warsaw, I'll be able to build a fleet in the north. That's going to be my contribution to your group. And that's eventually what I was allowed to do. And so you'll see that Austria makes moves to allow me into Warsaw. Turkey takes Seb. I asked him to do it with the fleet. He obviously said no, because it's Karthik and he'll never do anything against his best interest. And so there we go.
To die either way, because if Russia had blocked that, then Turkey would have walked out of Rum into Sev, so Russia could only defend one of them. All right, Spring of 03, Turkey takes Sev, Austria takes Ukraine but loses Warsaw, and Germany is now in Trieste, so Germany has decided that actually I am there to slow Austria down, which I think makes sense. I don't think you really want to accelerate this AT as a Westerner. FG continue to take down England.
But here comes the big moment of the game, which I stabbed Germany. Germany is not happy about it. But frankly, I don't know what other choice I would have had at this point. If I hold and just try to defend, build another army, I can hold for a while, but not indefinitely. And that's the thought was, if I'm ever going to have a chance in this game, I need to grow in the West. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit on 5 or probably 4 forever and never get anything done. And so that was where this came from. Victoria and Marcus obviously weren't super happy about it, but I thought I had more attacking chances with AT.
Right, fall of 03, and looks like AT have managed to flip Russia to a Janissary, so Russia gets Warsaw back at the expense of.
Now, I was very happy to let them think it was that way, but I obviously had designs on getting back into the game.
They're obviously for the year, but Austria takes Trieste and Russia's in Prussia and Silesia. So Russia's decided to make an enemy of Germany, which is interesting. Well negotiated by Karthik and Brendan.
Yeah, double hold from Karthik. Am I missing? Would it have always been better to go to Apulia? Like, what's the holding about?
He literally didn't have time to write orders, which was unexpected, but it did happen. He actually there may have been some tactical, like strategic or diplomatic element to it, but his claim was at the board that he literally ran out of time and didn't write Ionian and Eastern Med because I guess he thought the ones up north were more important.
Maybe he forgot he
Yeah.
had them.
Not sure.
Maybe support held and they just didn't bother writing it on the sandbox.
Yeah.
True.
That might also be the case. I'm pretty sure it was the other way, but the people sandboxing into this game were not trying very hard.
Spring.
All right, it's a rat. Nothing else to say, and it's not too shabby of one either. With popping Bohemia, they've got a real play on Tyrolia. I think they maybe saw Germany being a bit out of position, trying to take advantage. The only thing is France will certainly profit from this. It just depends if they can get pressure in the middle in other ways. But I mean, Russia's kind of behind the gun. Yeah, like trading Sweden for Berlin's not great because you're sort of just stuck tapping Norway and Sweden and.
Yeah, and obviously that was sort of a tactical error. I didn't expect Denmark to Sweden, so I didn't cover it with Norway. I thought that maybe bouncing North Sea would be better. And obviously it helped, but it didn't help in the right way. I should have been, and I may have lost Norway instead. So that was my thinking, is I would have lost Norway instead, and was hoping that Denmark would go to Baltic or Kiel or something. Obviously it didn't, and that did not help in the long run. Yeah, so because I wasn't able to get a third fleet down, which at this time I'm negotiating with Marcus, trying to get him to stab Germany, carve up the dots there, and he was insisting that I didn't need another fleet. We had a bit of a diplomatic impasse there. I wondered afterward if I had been able to flip it. Things might have been better, but I still felt I needed that other fleet. And again, obviously, Karthik is demanding I don't build anything but fleets, and Marcus is demanding I don't build anything but armies, and so I didn't end up with a build, and that was probably better for both of them. But I didn't end up having to make that choice. And that's where we were at after this turn. But had I gotten the build, I don't know what I would have done, because obviously If I build a fleet, I'm antagonizing France. If I build an army, I'm antagonizing Turkey. Um, an army is probably better. And looking back on it with a clearer head, I think that the best course of action probably would have been to say, okay, France, I'm totally on board with you. I have no interest in doing whatever. But then again, I would have been squeezed by France in the end too. So I think that um, ultimately fighting with Germany really was an issue in the long run. So it may have been better just to stick with the plan of building another army, having 4 armies defending Warsaw, Moscow, and St. Petersburg.
Here it's very static. So I think this really flips the momentum with Piedmont holding Venice, just hanging out. Oops, Greece. Oops, I didn't mean it.
Yeah,
What a shame.
I mean, that looks like a stab, but it's a very weird stab.
I think it's a stab maybe you try to talk your way out of and be like, I thought it'd be best. But like there's just no purpose other than I'd rather it be my unit than yours, because Austria on 4, aren't they helping you in the center? Aren't they popping Venice? Like I would take it as like it's time to ruin your game, Karthik. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, the disband of Bohemia is definitely I'm annoyed.
Now, Brendan didn't have the chops to make that choice. He was not quite. This was like third diplomacy game ever, and he'll learn. But he was not able to make that hard decision to flip on Karthik. And obviously, as you can see from the moves here, it didn't work out for him.
At Turkey, although these moves not so much, but maybe Karthik managed to pull the wool over the eyes again. So Karthik walks into Vienna and Serbia and Albania, lining all the units up around Austria, who does get Venice with everyone's agreement. Russia takes Sweden at the expense of Norway. France just continues getting monster position up there. This is sort of just a race between France and Turkey at this point.
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of negotiations going on between me and France, trying to get him to let me get a build, trying to get him to let me help out and defend against Turkey, and he just wasn't listening, because I think at the end of the day he knew that Germany was never gonna flip on him, so he didn't have to do anything because Germany was very much playing against me at this point.
And Turkey gets a third build, manages to get Trieste as well, and Austria walks out of Venice. Maybe expecting to bounce something, I don't know, but that's unfortunate for Brendan. Pretty dire year for him.
Yeah, we have
Austria at that point was just trying to pay back Turkey and help Italy, so that was an arranged leaving of Venice for Italy.
Turkey and France tied on 10.
Turkey pulls Budapest, which is music to Karthik's ears, that's for sure.
That obviously wasn't the intention, but yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
So here, I finally agreed to just turn around and go back and defend against Turkey, because he's obviously gonna. He insisted even after the game that he wouldn't attack me, but he's gonna take the dots. Like Karthik needs dots to get over France, and he's going to take them. So I thought it was pretty obvious that was going to happen, and I decided to secure my survival instead of continue to hope that Turkey would attack me. He insisted that Germany would flip, which of course never happened and never would happen. And that's why he made that choice. But I thought maybe I could get Germany to. I don't know. Maybe. No. What happened here is I thought I could get Germany to flip, which of course didn't happen. But the worst case was that I would secure my survival in Warsaw, Moscow, and that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean it's easy breezy for Turkey here. Russia does pull back. That's interesting. Eber still respects the need to fight against the leader, or maybe thinks ultimately this Janissary thing hasn't worked out, and no one with Turkey.
Yeah, I obviously had lost all my support in attacking Germany, so there's that element as well. Karthik took the Austrian dots, so there couldn't be Austrian armies supporting me to Munich anymore. And what's the point of supporting me to Kiel after he gets Munich? So what's the point of working with Turkey? So he burned all his bridges too quickly, I think.
Being sort of off to this like late to get their armies to the party, and Germany being dead. There's not anyone to really threaten Warsaw, Moscow. you know, and they're not going to get Sev back. But they do have like they have a draw position here if they pull back, as opposed if they let Turkey set up, then they will just die.
Yeah, and obviously the plan here was for Germany to walk out of Sweden so that I could get it filled. He ended up not doing that, she ended up not doing that, which is pretty annoying. But we'll see how it works out.
I mean, France has now got a monster position because they're just getting everything in the West, and Karthik's been slowed down a lot. So I think France has won the battle for this top.
Yeah, and obviously here's where we get the draw. With as Karthik saw that he didn't have any chances anymore, and Marcus wasn't willing to push it any further for a bigger result, although he could have had one. There's no solo here because of the defense. There's the possibility of defending Tunis, and ultimately defending Berlin if we really needed to. So I don't think there would have been a solo, but you never know. But yeah, Marcus, we all decided to go draw and go have lunch. So it was only like 1 o'clock at this point, so we had a pretty quick game.
There we go.
No, well played by Marcus. He absolutely took full advantage of Germany and their getting pulled out of position by their war with Russia, and reaped full reward. Karthik gave it his best, played well, but couldn't race that France.
Yeah, congratulations, Marcus, on a 12% of France. We've seen a few big France games. David in round 1, we had Ian in round 2, and we've got Marcus here as well. So
Okay, so this is the last game I played, the round 3 game, on Saturday night, and just seeing this lineup. There's obviously a lot of good players. Elliot, I know, I played with him in Denver back in the day. Speaking of, I need to get my location updated in DBN. And since I played with him, I knew that I wanted to work with him. He's a really good alliance player, great to play with. That was my big thing. Obviously, Katie and I wanted to be neutral with. Nicola, cool guy. I never met him before. First time meeting him, so I was happy to see him and happy to work with him. Jason, I don't think I've ever played before. I might have played virtual games, but just from the jump, air seemed like the way to go, and that's what ended up happening. But we'll see it play out.
alrighty, let's push straight into the next one. Another quick format one. This is round 3, board 4. So a few people here sort of in the lower standings, none in the top 10, but with the drop round, potentially still in it. So Michaelis, if you want to walk us through Spring.
Yeah, so everyone on this board needs a big result, anything other than a big result, and that's it for the tournament for them. And you see a northern opening from Russia, you see a potential Trieste loan from Italy and Austria, and maybe another air setting up to.
I didn't realize that I had the potential to go 3 for 3 on Austrian fleets and Trieste in 01, so I failed to do that.
Kill Jason Maspon, DMZ and Galicia as well.
Michaelis spots it immediately, of course, and that's where we're going.
Yep, Aegean, Trieste, Romania, Black Sea. Thanks for turning up, Jason. Beyond that, France gets the free builds. Russia sets up for a St. Petersburg build and could well be a sort of FGR in the north.
Oh,
Yeah, so he gets right on the tactics in the south and get Turkey down to 2.
Am I carrying on?
We'll rotate you.
Sorry.
So yeah, Javon, yeah.
I had reaction to the bouncing English Channel and whatever was happening around the Black Sea and all that. So if you have thoughts, Michaelis, please.
Well, I mean, it's just air killing Turkey in the east. I think it's an interesting way of doing it, convoying the Russian army in, but fair enough. They worked out that was the weak point. Italy.
Yeah, that was Nicola's idea. He had some sort of diplomatic coup that was able to get in that information, so we were able to take advantage.
Mhm.
I mean, Italy will probably be promised Smyrna or something out of this in 4, maybe Greece even. The West, Belgium's interesting. Belgium interests me. It may well be by agreement that Germany was getting Belgium anyway.
I'm not sure about that. But they end up working together pretty well, so who knows?
Happens a lot in an FG, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that surprised if this was still FGR.
All right.
Full.
All right. Continue on. I mean, Nikola takes Smyrna with support. We're just killing Jason Massbaum in Turkey as best we can, as is right and good. I love you, Jason. Really. Elsewhere, bunches of bounces and retreat to Barents because North Sea gets into Norway.
Yep. And obviously, Katie helping England against Russia here was not the greatest thing in the world, but it was okay. He ended up even, I think, because he lost Sweden, gained Constantinople.
Yeah, so it's definitely not FGR now. Germany has flipped on Russia, takes Sweden, and puts England back into Norway. So,
Yeah.
Famed hater of Western triples, Katie Gray, may be pitching a Western triple here.
Indeed.
Yep.
Puts 2 builds down for 2 armies, so that's very pro England as well.
All right, Katie. So we go.
And here's my big stab on Nicola. I thought that it'd be a good time to do it. Obviously, we could have kept going with a high tempo and been totally fine. I didn't fully expect Iron into a GM. I think that's where I kind of miscalculated. Maybe this is a different point. But I knew that Katie wasn't coming after me because she said she just wanted to go after Russia. And I knew that Russia would pretty much do whatever I said because he was doing all the orders I suggested to do. And we were having a great time. And so I thought that taking out the better player would be a better strategy. That was where it ended up going. Nicola, even after this turn, still wanted to work with me because he knew that was his only chance. So you'll see how it plays out. But basically, we waffle a little bit, and I get even more out of it.
We got Nicolas Ahuguet moving up into Tyrolia, taking Trieste back for Eber, which probably arranged, I would guess at this point.
Back to Ionian's a weird one.
Yeah. Okay.
Strands Nicola's army in Tunis.
Yeah, so as we see, I carry ahead with the stab. France is coming into the med. Russia's still even at this point because he gets another build. He messed up the support, so Eggs would have supported Khan to Smyrna here, and I would have gotten in, and Italy would have been down another one. So Russia messed up the support. That's the disadvantage of working with newer players. Obviously, Elliot is pretty experienced, but still making mistakes at his level. And if he hadn't made that mistake, we would have been even faster killing Nicola.
Still,
Nicola.
And I may not have needed Cameron's support, which was a difficult, annoying part of this game, was having Cameron in the med.
This is a full-on AI war. So an attempt to take Smyrna that doesn't work, and then bouncing and racing with each other around Tyrolia and Trieste. So this gives the West a lot of time to sort stuff out, and Katie gets a walk into Warsaw to make up for Belgium in the meantime.
Cameron, and you know that Katie has this sorted. She's so smart.
It's like a misorder by Wes fails to move Skagerrak to Norway. That's painful.
Yep, that was one of the reasons that Russia stayed in the game.
One double supported, but didn't put the move in.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That is a misorder for sure.
Probably.
So I'm feeling pretty good here with the pocket build and hoping to put a fleet down and enjoying my position. At this point, Nicola is still not wanting to fight me. Despite the bounce in Trieste, there was still this. He still wanted to turn on France. He still wanted to do that. He's like, just leave Smyrna alone. We'll be fine. And so you'll see how that plays out. But basically, I felt very confident in my position. Elliot's chilling. We were trying to figure out the north, which was difficult, but you'll see how it goes. I think that we found something functional. And obviously Turkey's gone, and that was my main goal early was to just get that out of the way so that I could figure out between Russia and Italy where I was going to go.
Not one Katie's that upset about though.
And even at this point, as you see with the moves, I still had a 2-dot stab on Russia, so I could have flipped even at this point and allowed Italy to and kept working with Italy.
Like, Skagerrak's gone. Oh no.
But basically, sorry, I keep pausing them. Basically, what I was doing is this like with Cameron and Katie, I was like, how about we do this 3-way draw or whatever, and that's where we were kind of going. But I really wanted to work with Elliot, and I thought I was enjoying that, and so I kept doing it.
Oh no, I'm so
What a-
mad.
What a shame.
Spring of 04, Austria continues to push on on Italy, even though Italy has tried to pull back to deal with France. So Nicola is about to get squeezed out between the two, I think. France moves in.
This was a decision point for me. I could have chosen to keep Nicola around, knock on the Smyrna, stab Russia, and gone up to Germany, and seen how that went. But I don't know if I would have produced a better result. Maybe for me individually, but not necessarily in the game as a whole. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think that would have been. I think it might have been better for me in terms of dots that I had. But like I said, I had a great time playing with Elliot.
Into the bed with everything, and yeah, Russia pulls back.
Yeah, so obviously at this point, Nicola's totally interested in only helping me or only helping France. So this is where I kind of got in trouble, where France gets 2 bills out of Italy and I get 0. And that because obviously, like I'm like, Cameron, please cut Piedmont, and he's like, sure, and then he doesn't because why would you? And that was annoying, but it was like not much I can do about it. I could have the turn before not stabbed Nicola again for the 3rd time in a row.
Okay.
Nicola helps convoy Marseille into Rome as well.
Yep. So Nicola's like, screw you, Easterners. I've had enough of your crap. I'm going to put France into Rome. Why not? Katie takes Belgium, so the Western Triple is no more. Katie has stabbed for
This was arranged, but yeah.
Belgium, cuts Burgundy. This is definitely not by agreement.
Yeah, I mean, he says that, but like it's just about guaranteeing the units stay where they are. Like it's just about making sure there's no funny business. And obviously she didn't want to move Munich, so why hold it? Why not just go to Burgundy? And she probably knew France was getting 2 builds, and she's like, screw this, I'm not gonna let her get 2 builds cleanly. So
England retakes Norway as well, so it looks like this is flipping into an EG.
that's just not. I'm sorry, it's like not even close. But you know, it is. I understand the limitations of the broadcast. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Hmm.
Or at least that's what Katie thought.
That's what Katie thought, indeed. Yeah.
Yes, and so here we have our big moment where Cameron Elliot is able to flip west on Katie. We take Warsaw, we take Sweden, we take Denmark, and you'll see where it goes from here. But this we thought was a great way to play, way to get it done.
Okay, so she's losing Denmark, she's losing Sweden to Wes, and she was pushing east, but Cameron might be her only friend.
Yeah, and here's also where I'm getting really annoyed with France because he's not letting me into Venice. He's stalling on the Italy front, and that was really annoying. But I think probably well played by Cameron.
I think.
Maybe. I mean, Cameron's position, despite losing Belgium last turn, has got pretty good with Rome. So, I don't know, maybe Belgium was by agreement, or at least it was easily smoothed over. Cameron's now in Ione, and he's got Nicola as a Janissary against this AR. It's quite nice for Cameron, this position. He's lost Norway whilst taking Sweden. It's very messy up north.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's my big mistake, and Katie is really pissed. She decides to support Russia and Sweden and Denmark, and I decided to move out of Khan, which was a huge mistake. I should have stayed in Khan. Like I even opened up Trieste for the build, and I just didn't write Khan hold, and that becomes this big thing for the rest of the game that sort of puts me no longer in the conversation for the top. It's just Russia and France after this. It's France. It's 3 builds. Russia gets 4, and I have 0. And that's it. That was a huge problem, a huge mistake.
All right, take me to the board position because
So this is just everything Wes took in spring getting blown up in fall. So this has gone
Yeah.
horribly for Wes. Loses
Oh my
Norway
God.
and Sweden and Denmark. Katie has punished
It's
him
so
as
bad
much
for
as she
Wes.
could. Like, yeah. I mean, Katie is down 4 on the year, having lost Belgium as well as Warsaw.
Is she
but-
down 4?
Yeah, she's indeed down 4. She was kind of giving up at this point, didn't want to play. Unfortunately, didn't block Belgium much. Yeah, is what it is. Which, I can understand that perspective.
Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, Warsaw.
Yeah.
That balloon is first. But meanwhile, France gets Belgium, Venice, Naples, as all the Italian dots.
Damn.
Yeah, this obviously was not good for me. And if I'd been able to build fleet Trieste, it would have been better, but not the worst. And Russia has 2 waves. It's like, bro, why didn't I move out of Con? Why did I move out of Con or move to Ankh or something?
What a position this is for Cameron. I mean, Russia is also +4.
I mean, this
can't put them all
is
down.
all Cameron all the time.
This
right?
is very soloable for France. Like with
Yeah, and that's what they say. I don't agree even a little bit, but we'll talk about it.
South that week, and the AR is the opposing alliance. There's no fleet power in the
Cameron,
Med.
if you do not take this opportunity,
Spring 06.
Spring 06, and France has a dominant position in the Med because, of course, they do. They're facing an AR. This is why an AR is a weak alliance, where it can't project that fleet power. And Cameron's taking full advantage. Like, yeah, sure, Austria's in Adriatic, but Cameron's just blowing up Tyrolia in the meantime. He's in Apulia. He's backfilled Ionian. He's got another fleet coming around to push position even.
Yeah, this was another mistake as well, not moving to Raleigh and Munich, which probably would have been taken the next year anyway. But yeah, it's better to have it than not.
Further. Like, yeah, Russia is level with France, but Russia isn't level with France. Katie's supporting France forward. England is moving on Russia. This is just.
And Katie at this point was not necessarily supporting France forward. Katie was trying to die, and so Katie was going to let anyone into her dots that could get there.
Everything, like the red carpet is being laid out for Cameron here. And you know what? You know what's even better than having a 4-on-2 fleet majority in the Med is turning it into 4-on-1 by blowing up the only Austrian fleet in Adriatic. Brilliant, brilliant tactical move, because that can't be rebuilt.
And what is he going to do with those fleets, Metalis? What can he take? I'll show you the stalemate line.
And
later.
Russia is so far away, even if they build another fleet. You've got to love that. France takes Kiel, takes Holland, hasn't lost anything in the meantime. Germany has lost Berlin. I think Katie just wants to go to bed. She has not even entered any
Precisely correct.
orders there.
Katie's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Like Russia puts.
Yeah, so we have the 2 fleets. And I'll show you the statement line in a minute, but they're 100% is he's not an Ionian. He's not an Ionian. He can't get these from Med. There's 100% a statement line. I'll show you in a minute what it is.
2 fleets down, but it's too little too late to contest the Med. This is still
completely not true. I don't know what they're talking about. I have too many armies. You can't take Greece, you can't take Trace, you can't take Bulgaria. You have to get into Eastern Med and Aegean before you can take any stock centers. So how are you going to do that quickly enough to keep this Russian fleet from coming?
Cameron, unless you can flip England diplomatically, and the way to do that is not to build fleet St. Petersburg North Coast. I just don't see it.
Cameron is doing this so well.
This is just brilliant. Like Ionian.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, and so we're setting up the stalemate line here. I have so he has 1 on Greece. I'm just going to bounce Greece. I'm going to let him convoy to Albania. Let's see this in the next turn. I'm going to have an army in Serbia. I'm going to have an army in Serbia that supports Greece. I'm going to have this fleet in Khan coming in that's going to support Aegean or go to Eastern Med. If he goes to Eastern Med now, it doesn't matter because we're going to have a fleet in Khan supporting Aegean. And this army in Smyrna can bounce Anchor or Syria to something. Russia could bring another army to defend Smyrna if it gets to that. I have all these supports on Munich. I have support on Tyrolia. I have support on Trieste. 2 supports on Trieste. We're totally fine. We're going to be okay. The only question is who talks.
Mark. I can only imagine that the reason England is still supporting France forward is that Russia's been vetoing draws. Like, because I don't think
That's completely not true. West was just mad that Russia stabbed him. Like they worked together, they were stabbed. They worked together, they stabbed. They worked together, they stabbed. There weren't any drawbells until the last one.
West would actually want to throw a
No,
solo.
there was one. There was one veto draw, I think. It might have been. It might have actually. He might be right. Actually, it might have been 1907. I don't remember which year, but there was one veto draw publicly, I think.
But at a certain point, if you're trying to support France forward to get the game over and it doesn't end, France can just take the solo whether you want to throw it or not. And this is looking mighty.
Oh my god. Cameron, do it.
Yeah, and so fucking Russia's in now. I don't know how you think he's gonna solo. He's in now. He's taken Albania, but it doesn't matter. Here's the stalemate line I'll show you. Okay, we convoyed 300 degrees. So since he didn't move to Eastern Med, Aegean to Eastern Med, Khan to Aegean can never be broken. Never. Serbia supports Greece. Can never be broken. Budapest and Vienna support Trieste. Can never be broken. There's 3 units there. Bohemia supports Tyrolia. 2 units, 2 and 2. Berlin and Silesia support Munich. 3 and 3. He didn't get into Denmark this turn, but what we did is we got the French army into Edinburgh so that the Russian and English fleets would be disbanded. He has 1 fleet in the north. France has 1 fleet in the north. Russia has 3. He's about to have 4. We have this bounce in Denmark so that Russia doesn't lose 1. He's getting Budapest. He's gonna put down. I don't think he put another one in his head because he didn't need it because we had 2 and he didn't go to Eastern Med. There's a fleet in St. This is unsoloable. I don't know where these people are getting this idea that they can that France can solo from this position. They're just not looking because there's 100% of stalemate land in the south, past Switzerland, south of Switzerland. He can't get past Denmark because it's going to have 3 units on it once it's taken by Russia. Which again, we moved around the supports here to make that happen a few times. At the end of the day, it didn't matter because Cameron was a little too cautious. And Russia's in now. Russia's in North Atlantic Ocean. How are they going to stop this?
Do
Albania.
it.
Beautiful. Why take the guests on Aegean or Eastern Med? Just convoy into Albania.
Yeah, because you need it. You need Eastern Med. You need Eastern Med to break the stalemate line. That's why you take the guest.
Give them even more centres to cover.
Denmark to
France
Edinburgh.
convoyed into Edinburgh.
I love it. I was saying Denmark to Edinburgh.
Yeah, and so the Denmark to Edinburgh thing was Wes's last ditch diplomatic effort to get something. I wasn't in the negotiations with Elliot, so I'm not totally sure what he was asking for. But he basically said, "You got to bounce Edinburgh and let me have Denmark so that I can build." Because he would have taken, if you look, he would have taken Denmark behind if Russia hadn't bounced him. And then he said, "I'm going to build a fleet. I'm going to attack France or whatever." I don't know exactly what he said. But we decided not to do that because we can have Russia keep Denmark, and that was better in my opinion. And it took England down to 2 fleets, and now we have an advantage of fleets in the north.
It's done. It's done, right?
Yeah, and so they're completely delusional. I don't know what they're looking at here because they can't see this southern stalemate line. Let me back up a bit. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what these 3. I've never met them in person. Just communicated with them online. I'm not trying to call people stupid. That's not what I said. I just think they're not looking closely enough at the stalemate line in the south, and they're just sort of assuming that France has 4 fleets. Of course, they can break through, which he maybe could have a couple of years ago if he'd gotten a Eastern Med or Aegean sooner. But at least it never felt like to me that was an option in the game. And at this point now, it is 100% not an option. Albania looks cool, but it's getting him nowhere. I let him in. I was planning on letting him in.
This is
So this might be an easier way to illustrate. Obviously, France gets Fleet Brest here and is able to bounce Mao, but this might be an easier way to illustrate the south of Switzerland stalemate line that we have. So we have Verse supports Mun, still supports Mun. That's 3 on 3. Bo supports Tyrolia, 2 on 2. Vienna and Budapest support Trieste, 3 on 2, 3 on 3. Serbia supports Greece, 2 on 2. Aegean to Eastern Med, Con to Aegean, that's 1 on 1 no matter where Ionia goes. And if you let someone to East and support to Aegean, we can start tapping Ionia. So this was literally unbreakable in south of Switzerland. The only way is to get just to take the north. and that would have taken. I mean, it was midnight when the game ended. Not only would it have taken many hours, it also would have been impossible. And so the negotiation now is we're gonna have a split board top between France and Russia. That was our bottom line.
They're on 13, but they have both English dots in pocket. They probably have Denmark in pocket, so it's a chase.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I would love for you, McCallus, to demonstrate how France can take Denmark. How can they do it? It's 4-on-2 in the north. Like, I don't know what you're looking at.
How many more?
Yep.
So now we
Yep.
have this. Now he withdraws because he sees the stalemate line in the south. We did it this way with the fleets because I had an extra build, and I was just going to give the unit. I was going to give the center to Russia so that they could bounce. They could split the top, and that's where we went from here.
No, we're here.
Why are we pulling back? I don't think
Because there's a stalemate line. That's why.
we need to be pulling back to cover mid-Atlantic, but fine, whatever.
Don't love the pulling back. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
too many.
the fleet's in Venice as well. This is unnecessary. Like, that one fleet can't do that much. This gives Russia a chance to rebuild a line. I don't think it really gives.
There was always a line in the south before this moment. So in the north, in the long run, maybe, but not in the south.
Them a path to a top, but if Austria throws it, maybe. But yeah, the problem with pulling back isn't that you don't still have fleet domination, but it does just slow everything down like this to get those fleets back.
So as you see, it's arranged. They let him in Liverpool. He stayed in Smyrna. France stayed on 13, and Russia went to 13, and we're going to draw after this year. And they're going to be all shocked and everything, but it's like, this was arranged, this is the plan, and there was no stopping it.
You need them. It's going to take hours now.
That's cautious from Cameron.
It's cautious. And this is even like, now we're walking out of Liverpool to give it to Russia.
No, why did you walk out?
I don't get it. Take Liverpool. Take London as well if you want, but take Liverpool. This is 13. Surely we're not taking an arranged draw here. No way.
If you were taking an arranged draw here.
Yeah, so they're going to be all bad that he took an arranged draw. This is not a soloable position, so I don't know what they wanted. There's 5 Russian fleets. I mean, there would have been. It was taking Smyrna, so there's 5 Russian fleets in the north. He has an extra build. He went +2. Yeah, he went +2, but won that fleet down and an army. So he's got to have 5 fleets in the north. Berlin can never be taken. Denmark can never be taken. Regardless, after that move, Liverpool would have fallen, whether France held there or not. So England's down to 1 fleet. That can't help. 5 Russian fleets versus 3 French fleets. Like, how is he soloing again? Sorry. Explain it for me again. I don't understand. So it was, if anybody was going to solo, it was going to be Russia, because I was on his side. But obviously, I'm not going to throw solo to Elliot. But which is part of the reason France pulls back, is he saw that was a possibility, because I mean, he's at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Like, we're getting pretty close to 18 with the Russian dots. Which again I would have done had it come down to that, but it didn't. So we get a split top. I get my 3rd place, and that was the way it went.
I'm gonna be so mad.
I don't get it.
So again, I can understand that maybe they saw a missed opportunity for France earlier, but at this point, like, there is no solo for France under any circumstances, and so I don't know. Well, under circumstances where I don't throw him, and so I don't see how that's a possibility. I'm happy to hear him out more clearly, but again, it's a short form. That's fine. They do their thing, and I'm happy with it.
There was a potential. Like, the solo was even at this point still viable for France, given the fleets in the Meds.
Yeah. Again, what are they gonna do? What are the fleets in the Med gonna do? There's a stalemate line. I don't know what to say.
Cameron, we're gonna have a conversation later.
Well done, Elliot, for getting a draw out of that game. But
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of my thing here. I'm gonna leave a comment on this video, but this video should be enough. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'm working on the script for the England openings video that should come out soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the original DBN stream to look at more of the boards, find out the results of the tournament, see some exclusive interviews, and all that. So make sure to check out that video. I'm going to link it in the description. And thank you all for watching.